Hey everybody, this is Joe. Thank you for watching my Giga Texas construction update video.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Giga Texas. Today is a different kind of flight. I'm kind of mixing long distance flights and also close in because I've gotten a lot of requests from viewers to see certain areas that I don't normally show, specifically the extreme far south and southwest, even farther south than the Colorado River and Giga Texas property. Part of the reason why I want to do that is show you the amount of development that is happening in the area around Giga Texas. It's kind of like bringing in a lot of housing, businesses, factories, and a lot more. Of course, to support all this is that water intercept system with all the caissons that we've been watching develop here on the site, but there's also more to the south and they all interconnect. And in addition to showing you all of that, I go over to the water treatment plant, which is on the south side of the Colorado River. All of these are going to be connecting to that at some point, or at least it's going to be serving the area around here. And there is actually new construction at that water treatment plant to support all of the growth that's happening here at Giga Texas and the surrounding community. After that, I fly over to the east side. I wanted to show you that east support facility that is being developed for that new factory. I wanted to give you a different perspective of the entire site and show you the amount of work that has to happen to relocate a lot of the trailers, the materials, the vehicles, even the east warehouse on wheels, and all that ground clearing to prepare this site for that construction. And it is pretty extensive, so I hope that you enjoyed those views. I also fly to the extreme far east past the Colorado River to show you this almost an island that is part of some of the land that Tesla purchased. And there is currently a cell tower, there's some new structures and a new road in that area, and it kind of gives you an idea of what that looks like in relation to Giga Texas and how far away it is. So again, hopefully you enjoy those far away views. Coming a little bit closer, I show you some great developments over at the electrical switchyard, including some modifications to the original switchyard to extend part of the steel superstructure into that new expansion. And I hope that that also gives kind of an idea of the extent of this electrical infrastructure change that they're doing to support all of the new construction. There's a lot more that I would like to show you in the video and talk about, so we'll go ahead and do that. And I hope that you enjoy this a little bit different view here. And as always, thank you very much for your support. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you have a great weekend. Take care.
If you would like to support my efforts, please consider using these links, which will be in the video description. If you are considering purchasing Starlink, I would recommend that you use my referral link at the bottom of the screen. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons on my YouTube video, as this helps as well. Thank you. My drones are ready and raring to go. Let's go flying over Giga Texas. Well, good morning from the far southwest corner of Giga Texas. You can see the perimeter fence at the bottom of the screen by the road, and Giga Texas at the top of the screen. Now, we can see the Colorado River coming into view, also the ecological uplift with all of these trees. This is part of that riverfront eco project that I've talked about before, but today I want to fly further to the south and show you some of the development in the areas around Giga Texas. Now, I've also had a lot of viewers ask me to look at this part of the area, so we're going to go ahead and do that here today. Now, you can see a lot of the apartment complexes below. This is actually doubled in size from when they were originally here when Giga Texas started its construction. And as you can tell, there is more work being done on the ground to prepare the grade for even more more apartments and roadways. The roads that you see at the bottom of the screen are brand new. They've been added within the last year, and as you can tell, more of the ground is being prepared for a lot of construction in this area. Now, coming into view on the right is some industrial buildings that have been recently at least under construction. They're not quite done yet. You can also see the water detention ponds that have been added for the water management. Now, there are a lot of businesses that are growing up around the State Highway 130. That's the highway you can see on the right-hand side of the screen. And because of Giga Texas and kind of like the industrial gravitational pull of all the operations here, a lot of these structures and other industrial complexes are being built all around this location. So it's really growing quite quickly. And that's why you see a lot of the housing being prepared here nearby Giga Texas on the left-hand side of the screen. Now, coming into view at the bottom of the screen is another one of the caissons. This is the one that's farthest to the south and is part of that water intercept system. I've had some viewers ask me to kind of keep an eye on this and look specifically at what's going on here. So I'll give you a view down inside. What you can tell is that they have those forms for the manhole covers. They pour those with concrete and it grows up from the bottom all the way to the top. This is like partially there. They've been also filling in around those that concrete structure with gravel. And you can see one of the buckets being lifted up now that is depositing some of the gravel. As the crane kind of moves over here, you can see the excavator getting ready to fill it back up. And we're going to see that in all of the various caissons today. You can see those forms that were at the bottom right of the screen. So anyway, I hope that was the view that my viewers have been looking for. While I'm here, I'll show you more of the land clearing and preparation for more apartments and buildings, plus another roadway here. As we get closer to the tree line, you can tell that there's a lot of work being done here to put in concrete water pipes. Also, what I think is another water detention pond on the left with the gravel and some of the rebar coming up. And all of this is part of this drainage system to support the entire area and all of the construction that is going on. As we get here next to Faldwell Lane, I'll show you this caisson. I'll zoom in. We get a great shot to see some of that gravel being dropped down into this particular caisson. And at the bottom, we see a kind of an excavator working its way to smooth that out. You just imagine with all the dust, what is it like to be down in there as that dirt is and the gravel's dropped down in. But you can see another one of those concrete forms and the manhole covers and how that is rising up from the ground, and that'll give access to the pipes that were put in by the tunnel boring machine and connects all of the various caissons. And this particular one to two caissons, one to the north and one to the south of this location. As we look across State Highway 130, we can see that Faldwell Lane is getting a new kind of redirection around the towers for the power lines. And I think that's so that they can replace the old one, which is where the car is driving right now, and move it a little bit farther away from the Colorado River. So that is what's going on here. Now, as we pass over these power lines, we can see Giga Texas and all of the various sites that we're familiar with at the top of the screen. I'm going to turn more towards the east and show you the Sand Hill Energy Plant. This is one of several energy plants around the region that powers this location, and much of this power is also used to help with Giga Texas, along with several other energy plants around this location, some of them to the north and east of here. As we pass over this smaller road and this kind of dirt section, we can see that there's some more building materials. This is all related to the work that's being done at the water treatment plant. Dead ahead on the right, that brown structure, we actually saw being built about 2 years ago, and I showed you that entire process way back then. What we are seeing now is an expansion of this water treatment plant because of the growth in this area. And you can see more of the water tanks, some more of these kind of vaults on the left-hand side of the screen, and a lot of cranes at work with some more earthwork around where they're putting these in. And this is that familiar kind of golf ball-like tower that we see from Giga Texas. And this time we get to see Giga Texas from the perspective of the tower. But anyway, this is just part of a lot of infrastructure that is being put in around Giga Texas. And in a lot of ways, it's the response to all of the attraction of the businesses and industries that support Giga Texas that is causing this expansion of the treatment plants. As we pass over the horse riding kind of farm or ranch here below the drone, just know that this is part of land that was purchased by Elon Musk, and it is part of the overall Giga Texas land area. Below the drone here, as we get to the Colorado River, and right across the river is where that riverfront ecological park with the sports fields are all going to be built. And as we see all these dirt roads kind of meandering through here, we can see the familiar clearing that is being done for this east support facility in response to the preparation to build that new factory for Optimus. Also see the east warehouse on wheels and a lot of the other materials and workshops, all of which this area is going to be reconfigured. And I'm going to come back a little later in the video and give you a better look at that. But right now I want to just show you where the intersection of Robotic Avenue and River Road is coming together, the clearing onto the right, all of the steel corrugated pipe for the underground water management system, berm work, and also underneath where they filled in this berm is the conduit that extends from the factory all the way out to that location. Here's a great view of the south part of River Road here, just south of the main factory. And throughout this entire section that you can see the dirt that has been kind of displaced, and the silt fences around here is where these kind of green water pipes and also some of the conduit has come through. Now we can see that there's work on another caisson. The yellow crane is bringing in some of the forms and rebar right now. You can see some of the forms on the ground and some other equipment nearby. We can also see the other caisson to the left, and I'll come back and give you a closer view of that in a moment. But for right now, I'm going to bring the drone down, show you this at a closer level of what is going on. You can see the rebar is sticking well up above the workers. That's because they're going to make another ring, and then this will sink down into the ground, and then they will repeat until they get to the proper depth. Of course, we see the trench boxes to the left where they're doing some additional work nearby that caisson. As I pivot back towards another one of the caissons, this one here connects to another one across the highway, and they've been doing this large excavation nearby. And you can see those spreader bars and also some of the sheet piles holding this area apart for the workers. Also, you can see the caisson has that manhole access cover and the concrete kind of tube section, and it's all the way up to the very top, and I expect that to happen with all of the various caissons. Speaking of which, as we cross the highway, this is the largest of the caissons and was the deepest. And so I show you back down into the bottom, you can see that it's got a large one of those kind of tubular structures with the manhole access port coming up, and they've been filling it up with gravel as well. And much of that gravel is being put into the trucks nearby, and it's being poured down inside, just like all the other caissons. So this is a large water intercept system that is being put in to handle the growth of this entire area. And with those views to the south of Colorado River, I hope it gives you a really good perspective of what all is going on. I wanted to show you here at this material staging yard that there's more trucks being delivering equipment on the right hand side of the screen, and of course the pipe work that is for underground water management system. But all of those crates I've noticed are being moved over to the factory and to the 4680 and structural pack part of the factory. So that's pretty interesting to see that they continue to build that out. Now these green wrapped items, you may notice that there's a few less of them today, and a lot of the other smaller green wrapped items have been moved to the factory. I've now figured out where this is going. It's actually going to the same part of the factory that the Cybercab production line is being completed. And we're going to see a couple of these near the factory a little later in the video, but it's pretty interesting to see that that is where these items are headed. As we cross over these power lines, just a quick view of this material staging yard with all of the various items, workshops, and containers. I've spent some good time on this on previous videos, so for today we're going to skip over this and go to the outbound lot, where I want to show you just how busy it is and some interesting observations along the way. We see a good mix of both the Cybertrucks and the Model Ys. The Model Ys in performance, standard, and premium versions are all throughout this entire outbound lot now, and they are all being built here at Giga Texas. And that happened with the performance models about a week ago. I also noticed here at the delivery center something very interesting. As I kind of maneuver the drone around, we can see a customer taking delivery of their Cybertruck, which is very exciting. And two, we see a red robotaxi being parked here for some reason. Now, this could be the item that was shown at the shareholders meeting and it's just being stored here temporarily, or maybe this is an indication that they're starting to make some more of the robotaxis and maybe increasing the vehicle fleet for the service area around Austin. Either way, it's very interesting to see a robotaxi here at the direct delivery center. I'm going to keep the drone down low. We're going to fly back across the outbound lot. Just want to show you some more of the activity and the number of vehicles that are kind of accumulating here and getting ready for transport off-site. Now, at the shareholders meeting, Elon Musk said that they were ramping up to increase production by about 50%. And if this is an indication of that, then we're going to be seeing this outbound lot continuously being filled up and a lot more activity with those new transport trucks that I've shown you over the last several months on the north end. We see some here that are kind of overflow from the outbound lot. And I'll bring the drone down a little bit lower and just get a better view of some of these Model Ys. But that'll be something that I am particularly keeping an eye out for, is to see if there's a noticeable increase in the amount of vehicles being produced. Some of that is for demand, but also some of that is most likely related to the robotaxi fleet as it looks to start scaling and expanding to different metro areas around the United States. So here's a nice view of the entire factory from this perspective, and we'll resume on the other side. Although we don't see any at the moment, this platform with the crane is where much of those wooden crates that I mentioned earlier are coming and being put into that third floor where the structural pack is built. So again, very interesting that they're continuing to do that. Here at the exit point for the Model Ys, at this instant of time, didn't really see one at that point, but they were constantly driving autonomously around this road over to the west side for the end-of-line facility. You can see the remnants of the Veterans Day Memorial or celebration display, and I think that was really cool. So I'm going to bring the drone up higher. We're going to cross over the roof, looking to the east, and I want to kind of give you a look at what's going on here on the east side of the factory. There's some very interesting deliveries that are being made and a few other details that I want to show you on this side of the factory. First, I'll just pull away briefly to show you the material staging yard at the bottom of the screen. Much of this equipment and the pipe segments are going to be used not only in the berm work that we've seen near the factory, but some of it I think is going to be over in the new construction area where the clearing is taking place. Now, next to stamping, we see the gantry crane has been put back up. It looks like it's getting ready to unpack and move some very heavy items. That is an interesting development. We can see some of the items along the wall here that are partially related to, or I think are related to the Cybercab production, more of the recycling of the scraps from the stamping machine section, some deliveries that are being put up into that temporary platform. And then here at the bottom of the screen, we see these red and bright items. These are very similar to what we saw with the Cybercab video showing the production line. And then there's those green items that have been stored on that far southwest side. They're being brought here and being prepared for movement into this part of the factory. So that is very interesting, and I do believe that's related to Cybercab, all of that. As we continue to fly to the north, a good view of this larger platform on the third floor, the new floor that has been added on to this section of the building, also for Cybercab production. You can see that there's some work being done by the wall here between the trailers and maybe doing some more apron work. Of course, as we pass the secondary main entrance and more of the receiving docks, we're going to get to this part of the site where next to that kind of teal equipment on the wall is where Cybercab castings have been shown in the last couple of days. Many of them are missing. We do see some more Model Y castings on the bottom of the screen and Cybercab castings. And then in this group where there's a lot of recycling going on, it appears like Cybertruck castings are being melted back down. You can see the forklift come out. They'll pick up a few and move them inside. And it looks like these, for whatever reason, failed their inspection or were not needed. So they're just going to be melted back down and they'll be used again to make different castings. Speaking of which, on the bottom of the screen, you can see the castings in the rack mount. Those are all rear subframes for the Cybercab, sorry. And of course, the furnace loading system number 2 looks to be virtually completed. So I'm going to take this opportunity, fly back to the south towards the parking garage over this old testing and calibration lot. Just show you next to the canopies for the superchargers, that a structure that had like a tent-like item that was being used to test out mobile power packs has had the canvas removed. As we fly over the helipad, we can take a look at this material staging yard. We can see much of the equipment that is being stored here, and some of it looks like it may be related for water drainage as well. Now, I did want to show you a kind of a better look from this perspective, taking advantage of the lighting of the east support facility, where, of course, the land clearing is going on right now in the south part. All of the trees are part of that riverfront ecological park that we've talked about, and everything here is going to be reconfigured, moved around, rearranged, and prepared for the construction of the factory. And the east warehouse on wheels, where all of these trailers are, was originally partially prepared for construction several years ago. And then I think that changed, and the location of the cathode plant was changed at that time. So much of this land that is already partially graded and prepared may be where we're going to see that factory, or at least part of it. Very interesting just to kind of imagine this, and just also the work that's going to be underway here to move everything around to prepare for that construction. I'm going to kind of maneuver the drone around, look to the north, and see the complex of Cortex 2, the die shop, the cathode building, and the crash test facility. And I'm going to just continue to maneuver the drone here. I'm going to bring it up to a higher altitude. We're going to fly to the far east side across the Colorado River, and I'm going to show you some new developments on that part of the site. Here we are across the Colorado River. You can see that asphalt roadway. That's an extension of Falwell Lane that we saw earlier in the video. Of course, this is the cell tower, and it looks like there's like a small tent and some other activity near the tower. Now, about a year ago, there was really nothing here other than the tower itself. Of course, this lake is part of that ecological riverfront project or park. And once it's developed, which will be done here soon, this will be available for the public as well. So just kind of neat to see or imagine what this is going to be like. Of course, the Colorado River coming up underneath the drone here, and just imagine what this whole entire area is going to be like once it is all developed and open to the public. As I pull away, again, on my previous video, I showed you this area. I just wanted to give you a different look with different lighting. There is roadways on either side of this pond and some clearing of trees around this location too. Again, I'm not sure what exactly this is all for or why they are doing this. But when we've seen work like this in the past, it presaged when they started doing the land reclamation in some other areas that are kind of remnants of the sand and gravel mining operation that used to be here. And this is a part of that. So maybe we're going to see some more development here. But I'm not sure, but it's definitely something that I will keep an eye out for. Maybe it'll be a Cybertruck off-road testing ground. That would be really cool. I think they really need one here at Giga Texas. But here at the northeast part of the cathode building, we see some more of the materials that have been stockpiled here for a while. Of course, the transformers, and these are kind of waiting for their turn to be installed. As we pass over the cell testing lab, next to the wall of the cathode building, you'll note that the crates that had the rear complete Cybercab that we saw on my previous video is no longer here. There are some more crates visible, and one of them here in the middle of the screen had some bumpers and other parts from Cybercabs, and you can see some more work on the inside here on the north part of the crash test facility. As I maneuver around to the south end, we can see that the crash wall has been moved off to the side. We saw that happening on my previous video, and it looks like they may be getting ready for a different kind of crash testing today. So I'm going to maneuver back around the south side of the die shop to the Cortex 2, and I'm going to show you a few details that I was unable to show on my previous video. First off is this kind of triangular forms that are being put together, and this is most likely going to be related to some construction that is happening on the east side here of the Cortex 2. In fact, you can see some pretty large vertical rebar that's being added into this kind of foundation wall structure. This is also where we saw a lot of the piles being drilled and filled in with geopiers, and a lot more of the rebar cages that have been prepared. And this is a great shot, kind of giving you an idea of the scale with some of the equipment nearby. And of course, these look like two large vaults that are being added to the side of the building here. So whatever's coming in here is fairly substantial and has some pretty strong foundations. Now on the left, we see the screw type piers, also where the electrical conduit has been put in, and the risers, and some more trenching for the concrete water pipes. Here's one of them. You can see it near the open door, and the rest is being filled back in. This is all to help serve with the drainage for water, but also the fact that they're using concrete suggests that we will see some more construction on top of that, and that's in lieu of using the steel corrugated pipe that usually is underneath areas that don't have construction. You can see those kind of circular depressions in the ground on the bottom left, and that's of course where we're going to see more of that excavation and maybe some more foundations put in. So we pass over this north staging yard. We can see inside the west hallway. And in my previous video, I showed you views inside, and we have this smaller retaining wall that matches the one on the other end of the building on this side. And of course, with the grade work that's been done and the fact that this part of the building is a taller grade than the rest of it, makes me think that we're going to see more of those screw type piers put in on this side, and probably part of that cooling system. Those concrete vaults are one of the three areas where electrical conduit comes from the switchyard to power the Cortex 2. Of course, we see some of the excavation with white pipes inside. That's for the roof drainage system. Now, this pattern is very interesting. I wanted to give you a better view than I did on my previous video. The trenching, the electrical conduit, the vault tops with the manhole covers, and kind of the shape that it's being put into, like this giant H kind of formation. It looks like there's some conduit risers that are being installed as well. So we're going to see some electrical systems on the top of the grade. This gives you an idea of the amount of screw type piers that are still stored here waiting for installation. And of course, a good view on the south side with some of the trenching going into the south part of the west hallway. And it looks like there's some steel and some other items on the inside. You see the steel studs for the interior wall, and the ground slab has been poured. Here's this large section for the screw type piers. I believe this is where the cooling units are going to be installed. And of course, we saw those being stored on the west side on my previous video. I'm going to pull away here slightly, just show you what's going on with all of the old trailers and the roadway. It's pretty much all been erased. They need to continue to maneuver all of these trailers away so they can do more construction. The one on the left shows that they are dismantling them already. So these are soon to be gone, and then construction can continue to extend south from this location. As we get up to this area just below the large underground concrete vault, we can see smaller concrete vaults with conduit that extend into those vaults and then over towards Cortex 2. And this is what it looks like today. It looks like also some of that red concrete's being poured on top of the conduit, and the trenches are being filled back in. Here's another view of some more trench work and pipes being laid, plus also some more of the steel parts and breakers, disconnects that are for the electrical switch yard. The assembly work for the large transformer continues, and that's definitely taking shape. What I wanted to show you here, one of my viewers, David, wanted to point out that they are putting in new footings and extending part of the steel structure from the original electrical switch yard through the area where the control trailer is, and the perimeter fence has been removed over to this side. This suggests how they are going to be connecting all of the electrical together. And as we pass over the VTOC circuit breakers, we can see more of that work here on the north end. Now, the conjecture here is that they may be tying off some of the power that's coming in from the large power poles and lines that you can see going to the original switch yard, and that may be the way that they bring power to the expansion. It's hard to tell for sure. I haven't seen any work showing that any more towers or connections to the main power lines are going to be made, but we do see a lot of the steel items here on the north end, some of which are for A-frames. So we will see what that looks like as they continue to put that together. So I'm going to bring the drone up to a higher altitude, just give you a great overall view from the north looking to the south over the entire site. And I hope that you enjoyed everything we were able to talk about. As always, thank you very much for your support. I hope you have a great weekend.